Hey, so sorry. I had to beat the trash truck who was on his way in. Okay, so what did I miss? What did I miss? We somehow still got back in time for this game, which is just kind of insane. We're going to pop a... what do you think? Faces of do a little bit of damage. Pop a Skull Dweller out. Go all attack. Put some serious damage down. See if his Defector Might wants to use his Defector stuff on his Defector's Hive. I'm thinking that I would rather have the Electrostatic Infantry because it would be a better block as we cast spells and stuff like that. But a 3/3 Van isn't bad either, right? Yeah, that's fine. Not sure that was what you wanted to do. Okay, so we only have one available, spell to cast because our lands. Last time we had 7 lands. This time we have 2. But the point of the deck was to function at 2. Like, to basically say, as long as there's 2 lands in our opening hand, we should be able to cast the majority of our spells turn for turn to keep up. I'm expecting a removal spell to go onto the Billy Skull Dweller. Otherwise, my man dies. That sounds good. So it would be great to get a burn spell right here. It would be great to get another Necrogen because we're going to get our Faces of Kamado John and we could just toss that on there and get a toxin, which would be really cool. The only thing he can do is block with the job of Duelist, right? And a part of me thinks that maybe we just push this off to the side here for a sec. So, what's the name of the game here? We just need one more Toxic to win. That's it. He's got 1 blocker. So something's getting by, and it's going to be the Etching of Kamado, unfortunately. So, setting the Etching of Kamado is a good thing. Watching 2 Toxic stack back on our side would be a bad thing. I kind of think that we push this line anyway, though. Because what is the point of having the, Billy Skull Dweller dies and the Brand gives us 2, and what's the point of all that stuff if we're not going after it? So he's going to hit the first strike, and it's going to kill us, and then the Necrogen's going to bring him back, right? And so we'll have him over here. And what that'll do is that will keep a few guys from attacking. The other piece of the puzzle is we're secretly getting his life total down. And maybe it wasn't a good idea to attack with the Etching, because that would have just been a perfect catch. Now we have to deal with this, right? So, a Skrelv's Hive would be, or Skrelv would be good, like our own might would give us the opportunity to get through and get by. As would a removal spell. Yeah, we can just get rid of your Skrelv. I like that idea. That might not have been the smartest play. He can definitely give the ability to Duelist, but not when he attacks, because he needs to be able to tap. So he should have sat back and not attacked with the Skrelv, gone in with the Duelist, protected the Duelist, and double delivered the Skrelv's stuff. Unfortunately, now Skrelv's okay. Some are toxic, unfortunately. So that's not cool, right? But it's okay. Billy of Skull Dweller would get us over the top. Okay, I think we need to catch an attack, right? Yeah, we're not going to attack. Kind of want to see what happens. This also helps us because we needed to cast spells in the red and black zone, so a longer game is good. Um, Maybe the electrostatic infantry is just not the right answer. I mean, if we keep getting these like really, really early rise to, you know, the toxic level that we're at that point, yeah, it's over. Like, it's game. Good game. It's okay because he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 coming our way, right? So one of the things, like this is the classic green-white setup where you kind of protect your little guys and you use removal spells to take out theirs. Our weak point, I think, in our deck is the fact that we're moving in two different directions. We're moving towards damage as a kill con, and we're moving towards like this is the damage as a kill con, and this is the toxic. And it seems like on the early side of things, we're relatively leaning into the toxic. So switching gears halfway through without a good reason to switch gears is a bit of an issue. I think we should probably consider removing these guys, and we should probably consider rethinking the top end of our stuff and start looking at things that are in the bottom that will help us with toxic. So we'll type in the word toxic, and we'll see what we could add. I mean, we certainly could add some pestilent siphoners into the puzzle. We could certainly consider these 3 mana guys who replace themselves. We could do one of these. This is an interesting piece of the puzzle because it gives you that extra toxic, and it also gives you that extra toughness. And I dig that. I think that that would work good. I think we could do one less of these. Right. The Forge and the Vran Executioner thing, this can just be really our life gain survival technique. I think it's important for us to consider keeping it. But moving the needle up on the cost, like we're down to 1.8 instead of where we were before, which who knows where we were before. And we are black-red. This guy looks pretty good. This guy looks pretty good. Okay, so all we did was we added bodies that will pick up the +1s from the Kamanos, and you know what's funny is the Kamano Kakazan does create a body on. Okay, we're gonna keep him. We're gonna keep him, but I'm thinking I would like some more of this and less of this, right? I would like ultimately to use some of these wild cards eventually to build a pure red deck that just embraces the you know, aggro style. Just go, 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 go. This is a lot of cards, though, that have nothing to do with Toxic. And it still represents a pretty big gear shift from what's happening right here in the black side of things. This is actually got a lot to do with Toxic. And the reason why it has so much to do with Toxic is because of the proliferation. It also allows things like a 2/2 to take out a 3/3, because a 2/2 hits and then you use the Whispers of the Jaws to take out the third one. It's pretty cool. We can give this thing Death Touch with extra mana. The other aspect, though, that we might want to consider is instead of focusing on us all the time and then removing what's obvious on the board, if I removed a Squee, how about a Vran and dropped in a couple Virus Beetles? Right? And again, the point of this is to keep us in a more uniformed, I'm trying to toxic you out kind of mode. And so I'm taking your cards away from you, so I'm removing your removal spells before you get a chance to remove my non-removal spells. Squee is just there for board presence, but he's just kind of there for the blocker kind of stuff. I kind of think, though, that there are, again, removal spells that are more important to us here, specifically this one that can hand out a poison without having to get across the finish line. So as a finisher, right, we Vraska Fall, people. And I kind of like that a little bit better. If I type in the word poison, I see just our payoffs for the most part, not anything else. Oh, the Necrogen Rot Priest would go good with that little deck, though. Okay, that's a different story. So we're going to put Vraska's Fall on the art. We're going to come back and look at our deck. one more time and see that we are definitely leaning out of the red and just using the red for burn, and we're leaning into the toxic black world where we're just trying to be evil with the fruits of the devil. We could do one less of those. Wish we had a few more rats, but the fact that we have these 4 is really good. The fact that we've got 3 of these is fine. And then we've got some burn spells, some burn spells, some burn spells, and some enablers of toxic for added extra toxic. So we're gifting some toxic out, and we are burning down the guys that are in front of us. Feel like we're getting to 6 and 9 toxic on turn 3, which is just so good. I have another idea. We're going back to our deck. Something just occurred to me. Twinferno doesn't just enable 2 spells. Twinferno enables double strike as well. Twinferno could really end a game quick if you've got 3 toxic on a flyer, like a Pestilent Siphoner. We put a Necrogen Communion on it. It's up to 3 toxic. We put a Projector, that's 4. We twin strike it, that's 8. Ooh, it feels good. I like that. This has not proven to be as important as I was hoping it was going to. So let's remove the Reckless Impulse. And again, just kind of focus here on toxic removal. Virus Beetle is just there to be in the beginning. I don't want to end up with 4 Virus Beetles. I kind of wish I had another one of these injectors. What's our average? 1.7. We just keep making it weak. Let's go here. Feel better. 1.8. 18 lands. Standard brew. Black and red. Toxic. Toxic burn. I like it. I like it a lot. So we've discovered with a little bit of testing what our deck really is. It is not what I thought it was. It is much more of a toxic play. And now, let's see, since we were so good at enabling toxic so quickly with the beginning runs, let's see if some of our tricks help get us across the finish line. Okay, we're good. We've got 2 flyers. We've got 2 missiles in the form of the Bilious Skull Dweller. We've got 2 removal spells. Sensing a theme. Yeah. If we throw the Vran out and then the Skull Dweller dies, we get the extra 2 damage, which is super cool. I don't think that we let the Tenacious Underdog attack, but killing him just kind of pushes him off for 2 turns on there. Let's see. If we end up with board presence after it's all said and done, I think we'll be happier than anything. So let's go. Yeah. Come at me, bro. Dude uses a board by 1, 2, or 3, or whatever. Who knows? This is fine. Go here. Do it again. What is this thing? You draw 2 cards and use 1. That's kind of cool. Well, of course you have the perfect response to what we're looking for. What do you got? Cancel. Never mind. Let's go with goodbye. Okay. Don't like what you did last time, Tenacious Underdog. This is okay. I'd love to get one more land, so I could do maybe a Lightning Strike and... It's okay, like I said. We've got to keep the toxic line down. So we're a little behind. We've got 3 toxic on board to his 9 damage on board, and that's rough. I'm okay with the gear change. I think he's okay with losing the play. Fine with that too. There's that land. Holy cow! Watch what happens now. Come back to that in a second. Let's just go all attack. Who scares us more? Probably probably the Gix, right? Probably. I mean, getting that card draw is just way too much advantage. Toss a Skull Dweller out there with a catch. And our third mana, now we're humming. We were able to do a little bit more on there. Cool Grimnark is a pretty scary card. Sure, they're not doing much with you. Let's see. Yeah, I think we do this. Unfortunately, it makes the Rascal Fall not near as good on the next turn. So we're going to keep going. We're going to Lightning Strike. Oh, I forgot about the mana. I'm just functioning like, oh, we're at the turn 5, turn 6. So that's on me, for sure. Oops. Okay, he's going away. We only got to 5, too. Without some of our toxic enablers, we just don't have much chance of, like, there's now the Communion shows up, right? We could have tossed that Communion on that Siphoner. Oh my gosh, we'd have been there so long ago. We got 5 strikes, that would have been toxic 15 if we'd have got it. That's okay. That's okay. We're still learning. This is our testing phase. We're trying to figure out if we've got a winner here. And so far, so no. There were some misplays on my side, and there were some unlucky draws without the, enables to go on there. So we'll see. I definitely messed up on a few of those plays. Lots of turn 2 stuff. So I think we'll just go here. We'll go here. I don't see a lot of green removal spells that hit like right now. So I could be wrong. There are some Terra Sunders and stuff in the world. Okay, we have our enablers. We are on our invasive toxic plan. I'm not worried about the Outlander, right? Because I can just toss another enchantment on there. And so if he sacrifices, that's another way to do it. Yeah, that was probably frustrating. We're not going to block that. One more land gives us the chance to double spell and throw a Virus Beetle as well as a Necrogen Communion out. Light of the Night is a rare card that is really better in a different circumstance than what was just used against us. Okay, so for fun, we're going here. He's got something that he can do on instant speed. Just don't know what it is. And neither does he. He keeps staring at it. Alright, 3 more toxic for you. Unless you do something amazing that I don't know about. You got Titanic Growth. Aha, I knew it. That's fine. It was all fair. Had to happen. Never didn't happen. Let's get rid of a card. And let's see what you've got waiting for us. It's going to be a wolf. It's going to be top-end wolf. Wow, that helps us a ton. Getting rid of their biggest, scariest threat is definitely pretty solid. Okay, so we can double spell again. And man, if we had that Necrogen Communion on there, it's game over. Like, we would have won because we could get 6 toxic in one shot, which is super cool. Since that's not happening, and I don't want to deal with the Tovolar later on in the game, it just continually creates card advantage and draws. Oh, that's good. That's fine. Resolve. Cool beans. Next. Attack. These kinds of spells are usually for, like, the Rot Priest. They're not usually the kinds of spells that you see in a like a Gruul. You know, obviously we're looking at having tons and tons of wolves in this deck. Tovalar comes down and just ends up getting chump blocked, right? Because if he hits, then at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 3 or more wolves, it becomes night. Like, he's getting close to a ton of bad stuff that happens on there. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer, so we're just going to let them get the card. Well, no, we're not going to let them get the card. We'll just block. It's fine. Come on, Necrogen Communion. Come on. We do have 2 of our 3, unfortunately. That's okay. So the theory would have been, if we would have had the mana available, we can use the Twin Inferno, right? This is cool. I like this. Bye, Keswick. That keeps it from turning night and getting him big and beefy. Nice to see you. Never did know ya. Okay, our boy's up to 7 toxic. That would be the equivalent of 14 damage against him, with 15 and 16 just sitting here waiting to go. So we just need to get through 2 more turns or 1 Necrogen Communion plopped onto that Pestilent Cipher. That's... the other thing that we can do too is if we can get the injector gun and we could toss that on there, that would be another way to put toxic, add an extra toxic piece to the Pestilent Siphoner. If he can hit for 2, I can use 1 black mana to get the proliferate, the final proliferate on him, and get him to 10. And so we've got outs. We've got a lot of outs. Things that we don't want to see: Hex Gold Slash. Actually, I could take a Hex Gold Slash. I would love to, because I could take the Tovalar out. Quick pass. Go ahead, get your card. Yeah. And I'd really like a card now. That didn't work. But we still won, because what did I say? I said Double Strike on our creature allows us to do some fun things, like okay, that worked all the way through. Remember, I like had an epiphany, an idea. Oh gosh, I forgot about my idea until there. And then I was like, oh yeah, I had an idea. That's the way it works, right? It seems like I'm sitting here going, how am I going to get 3 across with just the, I need the, and then there it is. So cool. We need 1 more round in order to get the final gold that we need. We are going to do a quick jump in. We're not going to take as much time rebuilding decks and stuff like that, because I think the next thing I'd like to do is jump into a ranked grind. Right, will do. Can you put the trash out, please? It's already done. Maybe in a month. I've got a lot going on. Who doesn't? Scary, but we're going with keep. Okay, so the mana is not scary, and the Whispers of the Dross might be able to help us against like a little guy. I don't see a little guy. Let's see what we're going to see. Mono white. This could get real ugly real fast. Mono white is scary. Mono white toxic is not as scary. So that's the good news, right? Getting that extra damage in at this point is less important to us than getting across the finish line. We could attack, use our Whispers of the Dross to finish off the Duelist of Deep Faith, but she won't even take 1 damage because she gets, well, no, she will. Yeah, I think let's do it. I mean, those Whispers of the Droshes are good finishers. They're not really good interaction spells unless you're dealing with some of these tiny little guys, right? He didn't even attack, so got rid of that thing. Which is fine by me. We could have tossed this on during the sorcery speed, but not after we see the he's not blocking at that point. So, um, double spell time, maybe, right? Let's do something fun. I'm expecting a removal spell, which will cost him a card, 2 cards, right? So it's kind of a way to putting it on the Virus Beetle is kind of interesting. Because now if he uses a removal spell, he's going to lose one of his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. The Virus Beetle is going to come back onto the deck and make him lose one of his last 4 cards. So it's a 2 for 1, right, on the spell. Unless he does that. Unless he's just brilliantly set up to catch anything that we do. I'm sitting here talking about like... Okay. People set up for the enchantment removal. Pretty rare, but it happens. People instant. The spell costs 3 points to cast if it targets a creature, so you're vanishing that. What you gonna take? You gonna take the rat? It's fine by me. This is why it's fine. Get on there. Next, I'll attack. Makes him a lot harder to kill. Gets our first toxic on the board. Ends the turn. We've got 2 Whispers of the Drosh, which will hand out and get him to Corrupted pretty quick. That doesn't enable much in our deck. But this does, interestingly enough. Yeah, this is fun. Let's admit. Why not? Yeah, just be mana efficient, right? Be efficient. Be efficient. Be efficient. Up to the toxic 4, threatening 2 more. I like to hold on to the last land. There's no reason for us to throw it out there. Phyrexian Vindicator. Okay. This is going to be a sellout situation, okay? But we are selling out. We're going to lose both of our creatures. We're going to Lightning Strike away Vindicator. Oh, I forgot he doesn't take damage. I forgot he's completely damage free. Resolve. That is so my bad. Yep. My goal was to do 2 damage to his 5, have him left with 3, and then Lightning Strike him away. It did not work out, unfortunately. This is rough. We need a hard removal spell at this point, and of course, we're gonna get land. Because why wouldn't we get land? Right? It just makes sense. Next. Cancel, no attacks. Haha, he got excited. He's like, he's coming, Oh. Uncanny amount of land that we've had so far. This is our 6th land drop on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turn 5 or 6. Like, that's just a lot of land. And if we would have been able to do other tricks instead of just stare at our land cards, we probably would have had a better chance here. It's not a bad idea to create some chump blockage. Go away. Lots of removal. We're on a 2-turn clock, and without getting our hard removal spell, I don't see how we get past this Vindicator. I would expect a removal spell here. It's certainly a loss. Okay, there's almost no out. I can imagine a Vindicator coming down. I'm expecting a Skrelv's Hive because that's what's going to work well with Toxic, White, and Mondrak. Like, that's kind of the intersection of those things. This is just as effective. A White Sense Twilight is another way for us to do that too. Yay, we got our 1. These guys can get rid of 2 more. And we just had flooded out, unfortunately. So, we say no attacks, end game, good game. And we're just going to concede. There's no reason to take up more time. We got our 750 gold. It was fun. We got 2 wins, I think, out of like 5 or 6 games, but they were fast, and it was a great way. We got 1 win, but it was a good way for us to figure out if our idea has some merit, and it doesn't. I don't think that Red marries up with black. Black delivers toxic so fast, it's really good. But I think it does better if you compare it with things like white than if you compare it with things like red. So, sorry, black and red, you're done. And let's just... let's just delete the red out of this. Here, go away, go away, go away. Twinferno was a cool win con. I thought that was really fun. We're going to get rid of the red. We're going to go in the white. And we're going to type in the word toxic. And we're going to get a chance to see what low-level toxic threats we've got that are here. The other stuff we'd want to look at is like safe. I don't think that's the right word. Loran. Loran's escape. We can throw in there to protect. We could have done an anvil deck in black and red, and that would have been pretty fun. There is a cool anvil deck that's running around out there that I like. This would help us draw land, but overall, nothing super exciting there. Huh. What else? Oh, we don't have the Skrelv's Hives. We just have these removal spells. Hopeful Initiates, giving out +1/+1 counters when you attack with bigger things, which we don't have. Bladed Ambassador is pretty good. This guy can come back. He can be a decent... Well, I'm looking for that delivery, right? Like, I want that I pump your board when we're corrupted. So let's use the word corrupt. And see... How many lands do we still have? Just 7 in this deck. So let's go to the land side and fix it before we overload. Right? Boop. Boop, 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 boop. That's 14. We need to get to, what do we say, like 18 to 20. So we need 6 dual colored lands. 2 or more right here. We could gain a little bit of life to get some dual lands that way as well. And that's about it. Puts us at 20 lands, and it puts us at 61 cards. I kind of dig this as a win con that comes out of nowhere kind of deal. I also like this, Vraska's Fall, a little bit more. We've got a lot of removal right here that kind of helps enable some of this little stuff to happen. I could ditch the 2 Vrans. We don't need that nearly as much. I like the protection spell. I like the... especially if we can get the protection spell casted onto something like the Siphoner with the Necrogen. And then I like the removal pieces that we've got going on here too. So a lot of removal, right? 4. There's some removal built into the Skull Dweller as well. So we can call this 4 total. 5 right here. We've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 different removal spells in black-white. We can't call it Rakdos Infantry anymore. Now it is Orzhov's with an H, if I'm not mistaken. Orzhov's Invasion. I really don't use the Apostle of Invasion, and it seems like a good card. I mean, it does 8 damage every swing. So anyway, we're gonna rethink our red-black strategy now that we don't have a daily quest to deal with, and we'll look at the black one because I think we have the workings of the beginning. There are some really fun things that deck does. Dropping, 3 toxic each turn on a flyer that you have a total of 3 mana to accomplish is pretty excellent. Next is this. We do not have a win on our stuff. Remember, we always check this before we get rid of it because there's just a free card laying there. So let's get this win. Then we can do one more, and then we can maybe try our new deck out in the ranked category because the month is ending. And if the month is coming to an end without us getting out of bronze, we're not going to get much as far as the rewards that are available for ranked play. And I think that we want those rewards. I think that it is more packs that we get a chance to open up in the latest set. It's usually something like if we can get up to let's just try to get past gold. If we can get to back past gold, I think we get like 3 packs. That's on there. Oh, I forgot to look at this. What do we have going on here? Prison sentence. Run out of town. Tawashi spot. I hate this deck. No, it's not the deck's fault. Oof. Well, this is a lot of mana. Witness Protection is a removal spell that we get a chance to use. We do have a counter deliverer right there on time. Sorry, Johnny boy. We're coming for you. This is only when it trains when it's attacking with something of greater power. Nothing we have has power, which is sad. Let's go here. Put that on there. Just as a way to force him to do something bad since we don't have anything else going on. Your legitimate business person no longer gets counters on it, unfortunately. We are looking for, what, the Ledger Shredder? We are looking for the Ruffian's Informant. We are looking for a Yoshi and Frontliner. We definitely have a couple of cool spells to deal with here. I'd be fine trading that. Oh, the flood is real. The flood is real. This is a conniver? A conniving blocker. Damage. Is it equal to or greater? With greater. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Sentinel. Hit me for 2. Yeah. We should be able to cast the Metropolis Angel. Well, there's our Ledger Shredder. Shredder. I forgot. So. Should have cast plates here. Dude, I can't cast. Like, I can't. Perish Blade trainees coming for Psionic Snoop. And Zephyr's going to take us and get a hit on us. So this is exciting. Way to build decks. What? A devoted paladin? Game over. Right? Like, have some more land, would you? Like, that's the way to go. There's nothing I can do. Are you kidding me? This is so sad. So sad. This deck is dead. I'm not sure what this deck's trying to do. It's like, I'm going to be slow and late. And it's like, well, slow and late's not, that's not a winning combo. Sounds good to me. I can't. Freaking land. Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've gotten this so much land. So mean. So mean. Alright, next. There's nothing I can do. I'm not going to lose my Ledger Shredder to this, so the best I can do is give something vigilance, I guess? Like, there's nothing to do. I don't have a single piece of offense on here. I can hit for like 1. I mean, it's not going to work. Oh, why not? Let's just quit now. Like, there's just no chance of us doing anything in this game. All we're getting is land, and all he's doing is removing everything we do as with the perfect card every single time. Come on! Did you make that deck? Because I don't like the deck I got made. It was bad, 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 bad. So, so bad. Da, 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 da. Just really read? Oh, take it. Hey, look, a 1-drop, a 2-drop. We're keeping. There's no chance. Okay, read. You giant winner. Oh, I'd like to put one of these out there. One of these. I can't believe how much land we get in this deck. So these little like 40 card decks should have 16 lands. They give us 18 lands. And you can see why there shouldn't be 18 lands in these decks. Like, you draw a land half the time. And if you're doing that, you're losing 2 cards half the time. And you're decking yourself. Like, at least you're decking your hand very, very quickly. You don't want to always have to throw a land out just to stay productive, right? On the back end side of things. You want to be able to do more. So we'll all attack here and end the turn. The goal was to try to create a second spell connive right off the bat for the Ledger's Letter, as opposed to shoving him out there right now and just having him catch a removal spell. We'd much rather have the Yoshi and Frontliner catch the removal spell, right? Hey, it's like the same hand, like the same guy. It's okay. Okay, and so this is why it's a good idea to wait on the Ledger's Letter. We can do this, right? And then we can slip out the back this creature right here, connive that creature right there, get rid of this creature right here, and now everybody's just got bigger really quick. And that's, I would rather have this situation where I can withstand the Zephyr Sentinel's attack than getting the 1 extra damage risk over there. I don't think he would have blocked the Yoshi in Frontliner. I do think now he's stuck. He doesn't have any good choices that's in there. If the Yoshi in Frontliner was to attack on this turn, it would have definitely been like on the next turn. It's definitely going to get blocked, and he's going to end up trading the Sentinel, because otherwise there's just nothing here for the Sentinel to do at all. And that's not what you want to do with your Sentinel. Weirdly enough, the unearth cost on this 4/4 is cheaper than the cast cost, and I dig it because it's getting let us take this free attack all the way through, toss it onto there, and get a heck of an attack. It's like one of the hidden things about that card, you know, that you know, cast it for 5 and it's a 4/4 that gives you 2 life. Sounds okay. Throw it out there on 4 for a sneak attack is way better, in my opinion. Now, I don't have it anymore. It's a one-time shot, but getting him to go from 20 life or 19 life or wherever he was all the way down to 10 unexpectedly is a game changer, right? This bot enters the battlefield and you get to put this on a target creature you control, and then you can draw a card. It costs 1 less to activate for each modified creature, and these count as modified creatures. So I can toss this out there. The other option would be to throw this. You get to put a plains or creature card with mana value 3 or less from among cards that were milled into your hand. Since we're running a little bit low, I'm going to go this way. I think we didn't get anything, which is just sad. So sad. We're okay with that, though. We're on a 2-turn clock on our boy, and we have the ability to chump block the Futurist operative twice, because we can bring the Yoshi in Frontliner back with a single white pip with his Unearth ability. And so this is the Brothers' War mechanic that I think actually had a lot more versatility and flexibility than most people utilized. A lot of people just were like, "Yeah," but I love the Ocean Frontliner, and I think that like in sacrifice decks, in decks that want you to get on the board very very early, he's a really kind of cool, aggressive kind of piece. You did it. You did it. All right. We might as well throw this out there, and we might as well consider doing this, right? Because we've got 3 modified creatures, and that means that tapping this thing for a card draw is going to cost 1 mana when we're tappable. You just can't. You can't. When you're down to 1 card, you can't argue with that value, right? Towashi Guide Bot. It's just really expensive. I dig this as a 3-drop because then it's like a 3/2 that has a card draw mechanic built into it. So at 3/2 it can trade up to things that are 3 mana, because a lot of things that are 3 mana have like 3 toughness built into them. Okay. This is what you are now. Alright, Mr. Snoop. Snoopy Pants. I dig it. Definitely want to get rid of land. The Snoop just keeps the operative from being able to get in and do any damage. Not that we're scared or close to the finish line on that line, but it is something to consider. We did get an opportunity to see the Towashi Guide Bot. It did still take 3. No, we cast this for 3. Sorry, it took 1 because we've used a total of 4 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4. I was hoping to be able to double spell there, and instead we drew something that was 3 mana instead of something that was 2. Because if it was 2, we would have been left with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 makes it down to 6, and a 2 mana spell and a 4 mana spell lets us Ledger Shred up. So, it's just a little unlucky on the draw. We got very unlucky on the Airlift Captain. Just kind of, yeah. This would be game though, right here, because we get to put +1 counters onto 2 different creatures. And the creatures that we're going to put it on is here and here. No. Put a +1 counter on each of up to 2 different creatures. What do you think? Here. He'll be coming back. Next. You can crew this for 3, right? So, I could have theoretically put it on the Ocean Frontliner, but then the Ocean can't hand it off. I could have put the other one on the Guide Bot, and then the Ocean could have handed it off, and it would have made the Guide Bot into a missile. But as it stands here, we only have to get to 5 total damage, and crew or not crew, he can only block 1 of our creatures, right? So 3 + 2 or 3 + 2 equals you. So we won. We get the card, and we can go out of this stupid pack. We really like the rares in this pack, and the Airlift Chaplain is usually a much better card too. There's nothing negative about the Angelic Quartermaster. It's just too expensive for most of the formats that exist in the world today. Oh, good on you. I applaud you. Last minute short circuit. I dig it. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. My man he won't quit. Never not having it. I'm not so sure dual mechs is the right answer. the answer yet for the quartermaster. And that's lethal. Good game. He did what he could. Good on him. Claim prize. Oh my god. Oh my. Oh. No. Just resign. Yeah. Resign. Let's go. 1,000 gold. And here we stand. Stampede, Bewitching, and Graveyard. Super excited about Stampede. I think we're getting familiar with these packs. And if I recall, that is Squee City. One of the best cards, especially if we're going to try to build that red deck that I think is going to be what we're going to use in the ranked side of things. So Stampede's most likely where we're headed towards. Yep, Squee, the Dubious Monarch, or a Shivian Devastator, both of which go into the red deck very well. Bewitching is the Sun Gold Sentinel, a pretty good card in the Soldiers deck, but you just don't see it anymore. And then finally we've got the Graveyard stuff that we were doing with the Graveyard guy. And they're giving us an Aven Heartstabber. It's maybe one of the more underwhelming dual color cards that exist out there. It's got its positives. If there are 5 or more mana value cards in your graveyard, she comes out with a 2/2/2/2, but she only comes out with a 1/1 normally. So you can get a flying death touching 3/3 for 2 mana, but only later in the game. In the beginning, it doesn't work. And she dies, she mills a card. And so she mills 2 cards, I should say, and then she gets to keep one as well. She gets to draw one. So there's some usage for her. It's going to be down the line before we pick that. This is going to help us right here, right now. And then now we get an interesting look at Dragon Ventures. I do think Dragon Ventures has some cool dragons. The Wrathful Red Dragon says whenever a dragon you control is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon. Or the Ancient Copper Dragon, which is one of my favorite. This is just pure chaos. Whenever it deals combat damage, it rolls a d20. The 20-sided dice comes up, and that's how many treasure tokens you get. The other cool thing about dragons are they all come with a spell kind of hidden in the card. And so while they are expensive, they've kind of got their little mini ramp, mini curve sort of like softening built into them. And as you can tell, I'm kind of a fan. Resurrected is Gix's Command, an incredibly good command, one of the only ones that I really like, or just a Gix. We can get the Praetor who gives us a card every time we deal combat damage. I really, really, really think that this is also going to improve more decks than anything. Finally, we look at Samurai, and Samurai are a fun experiment. They kind of remind me of Equipment as well, though. Like they don't give everything. Now, if you want to get, let's say, something out of the graveyard, the Restoration of a Ganjo is pretty good. You may discard a card, and when you do, you get to return a permanent card with mana value 2 or less from the graveyard. So there is some synergy there. Dragon Adventures has some really interesting dragon cards, but we don't see a lot of dragon decks because the format is just way too fast. And that's one of the reasons why we leaned into Stampede, was we have to go fast. If fast is the name of the game, we got to go Resurrected, I think, on here. Having these cards would be kind of fun for certain decks, but we're trying to climb the rank ladder on this one. So we're going with Resurrected. And what did we end up? We ended up with the Command, which is a really good card. It's going to be very powerful, and we ended up with the Squee, which is exactly what we're looking for. Other things that we picked up that are pretty nice are the Viashano, which comes with haste. It's going to help build another haste, 1 mana like red haste. Our 4th Lightning Strike, I don't think we had 4, so that's good. And the Harvester, the Pummeler. The Pummeler is kind of neat. This helps you remove artifacts. The Steel Crusher helps you get land on the Sprouting Goblin. This is the card that annihilated us. It's actually got a lot of value. I'd take it. Okay. the squee is super, super important. Of all of the things that we just saw in that deck, I don't think that anything is going to amount besides the Viashano and the squee towards the next deck that we've got. So that's a little bit of a shame. I thought that there was going to be more geared towards the mono burn. I thought we'd get some more burn spells. Oh yeah, we got the lightning strike too in there. The Gix's command is also a pretty important card for what we're trying to get done. We have a 3-drop, we have a 4-drop, and we have this. Let's just take the free mulligan. Just didn't line up for us. 2-drop is not going to affect the board, and nothing affects the board again. This is why I do not like this hand. Ew. Ew. I don't know what this guy with this super sexy pet is doing down here, but we can get rid of that. Yay! Okay. This is good. That's good too because it takes the disturb options out of there. Coveted Castaway will definitely block. Bella will give first strike. We will definitely take the Enlister because the Astronaut is a great target to be enlisted against. So what we can do is get the Coalition more brute out of the... I'm kind of glad. I don't like my deck, and he didn't like his deck either, I can tell. So we get the win, we get the gold, we claim the prize, and... Oh, cool, a domain card. Domain just basically says that whatever his power is equal to twice the number of different basic land types that you have. So if you have all 5, this is a 10-10. If you just have 2, he's still a 4-4. I think you're looking for a Triumph in this, like three lands, and there are specific cards that will give you domain, like 2, you know, like the Triumphs that I just mentioned are a good example. So let's go back to decks. Let's take a look at our red. Mono red, beat them up until they're dead. Okay, so we can tell we've really focused on mono red as we did need the 4th lightning strike, and we did need that, which is good. Voltage surge is okay, I'll take it. Maybe the free from flesh is, or the Hexgold slash is probably the least important of the ones that we've got in there. The churning reservoir will help our win con over here, and I think we only have 3 forges. Can live without stolen vitality, or do we have more impulses? Yeah. I mean, it is kind of a removal spell, but we've added some removal to the puzzle here too, and I'll take the body down low. 1.8, 21 lands, probably worth coming down a land or 2. Is there any fast lands in the green-red that we haven't utilized? No, we have a... Well, yeah, we do. Boop, boop. That puts us to 20. With so many cards in the 3 slot, that's probably pretty good. We get 1 more card. Synthesizer? A Scamp, maybe? No, unfortunately. We don't need a ton of magmatic sprinters, is the thing. This is good. So I'd like to increase what's going on down here a little bit. But, you know, the experimental synthesizer, it's a card that replaces itself, and then it's a 3-mana spell that creates a 2/2 with vigilance, which can be really big. So it's kind of like a card advantage, essentially. You do nothing on the first turn, and then you can sacrifice it to create the 2/2 later on, and it replaces itself, right? Because you get the card back. It's just not the early kind of card that you wish it was. And so let's go take a look. Let's take a look-see. We'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of that. And we can kind of see based off the top what do we got, what do we need. Oh my god. A staple. A staple in the mono red, and we're just letting it fly right by. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Cool little trick. I can live with one less of those, and I would much rather have all 4 of those. Are we ready to go into ranked? I think we're ready. So, the plan was always to hold on to as many wild cards as possible, and then build a deck that could climb through ranked. An Anvil deck is one that they give us in the beginning, and it doesn't take too many of these to make an Anvil deck look really pretty sweet. That's on there. I just was watching a guy do it. I'm trying to think of his name. Uncommonly Good MTG, I think is what it is. But I don't know. We're risking nothing. We're at the bottom of the barrel, right? So let's just do our tests and let's drive. We're rank climbing right now, all through mono red. We are going to make people hate us. Let's get ready to rumble. Keep 7. First turn, Kamano. Second turn, Viashano. And Kamano. The reason we don't cast this one first is because we're going to be able to get a 1/1 counter attached to it. So it becomes much stronger. Twice as strong, in fact, overall. And we say all attack. Now, I would really like to draw a creature. There was a reason to hold off on kicking out the second Kamano. And that is this right here, right? Yeah, see, we're going to miss that +1/+1 counter, which is just painful. But that's okay. The other aspect of this is we're not going to get the Free from Flesh, the +2 oil counters onto anything that cares about oil counters. And so while it would be great to sneak in the 2 extra damage, I think I'd rather just wait and see. If he doesn't play anything on the deck right now, it sort of proves me wrong, right? This will work, though. Yeah, that's fine. What do you do again? He gets +2 until the end of the turn. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. Alright. I think I'm fine losing either one of these creatures along the way. And so if that's the case, we just click next and all attack, right? So the Viashano could get the +2 and it would just eat the mana, but it wouldn't do us anything. The Free from Flesh, we could stick over here, turn him into a threat, and get him way down, right? Now, we're not threatening lethal at this point, but we are certainly making life very difficult for Cypress. Darling of the Masses. And we ended up with another trick, which just is a total bummer. Like, I don't know why the tricks are such a deal, but there they are. Alright, so we just keep using him. What's kind of cool too is that card gets exiled. It doesn't make its way into the graveyard, so no graveyard shenanigans with the Darling of the Masses. We should be able to get another 2/2, and so if just one body hits the deck, we win, because he can only get rid of one at a time. I am cool with this. Unfortunately, none of these guys are anything. Even if we went straight across trade, right? We would still be left with one creature, and now we've got 2. So no, we're going to decline on that because he doesn't have anything for us to deal with. So card advantage becomes a huge issue right here. We've definitely been just kind of smashing our head into that brick wall, and he has been trying to stabilize. That last turn was really, really good for stabilization. If we can sneak, let's say we pull a lightning strike, and we can sneak 2 by on this turn right here, we're in a much, much better position than anywhere else. The other thing we could do is another free from flesh. Yeah, see, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. But unfortunately, Squee exists, right? And so, as an existing creature, one, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is why Squee is so important. We can cast him again, eliminate the 4, and just put him back on the board. Moving on up. Our very first ranked victory on stream. I did play a little bit of ranked earlier on this account. I think we were just testing things out. We said, why not? Let's just go into bronze. It's probably the place where we'll get the least amount of pushback, right? Because bronze player, brand new. Come on. Come on. Okay. Unfortunately, after this, we're going to have to take a short break. I got to make sure kid gets up for school. This is a wonderful opening, though, with Kamano out first. Cacophony picks up the duel. I like it on Cacophony more because when he gets killed, it deals that amount of damage to any, equal to its power to any target. So it becomes a two-drop fireball, right? So, out you go. You get it first. Out you go. You come in second. All attack, just 1. That's good. Worth it, right? Absolutely worth it. Reckless Storm Seeker or Sprint, Magmatic Sprinter, both require me to pull a land. We only, unfortunately, have about a 1/3 chance of pulling a land, so we're not going to play that. But we are going to be all attack here, which is a pain in the butt for our opponent. No, we're going to. This is an artifact vehicle. And what we can do is, when it enters the battlefield, we can sacrifice a guy and get rid of an artifact. I'll take my 1/1 and move out your 4/3. Cool beans. Let's do this. We're hasty. Swinging for 9, and it takes full base. We could use it, but we're going to decline. I like the idea of having the wider board than I think I like anything else. We'll have our 5th player here. Mono red's just brutal, man. Just brutal. I don't know what else to tell you. Cacophony Scamp gets hot by Circuit Mender and then throws his 2 to the face. There's just so many permutations here. Sure. And who would like the +1? Okay, we've got a winner, without a doubt. We have, spent a little bit of time outside of ranked in order to create a really solid mono red deck that is leaning pretty heavily on some early interaction. And what I really like about this deck so far is how we're not wasting a single piece of mana, right? Every piece of mana is not just getting out there, but it's getting out there and it is creating, 1 or 2 damage to the opponent. So, you got 1 mana on the first turn, you got 2 on the second with a total of 3. You're getting 2 damage on average per mana that you're spending. You're up to 6 damage on turn 2. Add 3 more mana, it's like adding 6 more damage. You're up to 12 by turn 4. Even if you don't get your 4th mana, you should still be threatening lethal. Pretty close to it. At least. And so converting mana into damage is the name of the game, and doing it fast is the name of the red game. We're not going to call this my red anymore. We're going to call this ranked red. Right? I would probably say this is the most powerful deck we have right now, and it's certainly something that will allow us to